PvP in Guild Wars 2 is one of the most addicting things once you get into it, but the issue is that there's a steep learning curve and everyone wants to input their advice, but it isn't always relevant for your level of play or situation. I have tons of PvP tutorials, but where do you start? The answer to that is here. In this video, I'll go over the very first things you'll need to do to prepare for your first PvP match. First of all, you can start PvPing at any time. Gear and levels don't affect you. Though you can queue into PvP from anywhere, you'll want to enter into the PvP lobby at first because your templates will be swapped and you want to make sure that you have a PvP build. All you need to do is select the PvP equipment in the equipment panel and choose Amulet, which is where your stats come from, a rune for extra effects, and sigils, which will be active when wielding that weapon. You don't need good weapons, just the specific weapon type you want will do, and you can buy basic weapons at the weaponsmith NPC here. You also need to change your trait template, but after those few things, you're fully equipped. If you want ideas for PvP builds, you can check the link below and watch a guide for a specific build. Unless you really want to take your time and test everything, then make your own build. However, before you get into a match, you should prepare some basic settings. Set your camera field of view to largest so you can see your surroundings. Disable camera shake and enable camera teleportation to make your vision clearer. Also, enable free camera and get used to using your mouse to look around. Also, disable double tap to evade and get a good keybind for dodging. Put your utility skills on the left side of the keyboard and get keybinds for calling targets. If you want a more detailed video on settings and mechanics, check out the How to Get Good video link below. You should be ready for your first match now, so open the PvP panel and enter an unranked match. You can distinguish between Conquest and Stronghold, but everyone usually plays Conquest. You can enter ranked once you've played around 50 games, but for now, play unranked of course, as it's your only option. The purpose of the match is to get 500 points before the enemy team. You get points by killing players and fully capturing points, but the capture points are worth more over time and enemies will contest them, preventing you from capturing them. So you'll need to get kills to get capture points. But because every class or build has its own strengths and weaknesses, you may not be great in a 1v1 against them, or you may not be great in a large fight. Figuring out where you can be the most effective depends on where everyone else is in relation to you. So check your minimap and your party menu to see how everyone's doing. If your team looks like they're dying over there and you're playing a support build, head over there to help them. If it looks like they're winning and you're a support, you can't provide too much over there. If you prefer to 1v1, find an enemy node that your team isn't already at and fight for it. If you're an assassin, look for specific players on the enemy team and try to kill them when they're preoccupied in other fights. These decisions of where to go are called rotations, and if you want more details on that, you can also check out my rotation series, linked below. You can stomp enemies who go into the down state with the interact button, and that can be better or worse than just finishing off their down body with more damage, depending on your build and the situation. If you have a lot of damage and can do it from a safe position, it's almost always better to just do damage. Most classes have a way to prevent you from finishing them easily with a stomp, so only go for this if you know that you can secure your stomp, or if there's no danger at the moment since you're stuck in that animation for a few seconds. You can also revive allies with the interact button, but that can also be risky if there are plenty of enemies nearby. If you don't go for the revive immediately, it only becomes harder and harder to get it. But if you're a supportive class or you have defensive cooldowns to protect you while you go for a revive, you can turn a losing fight around very quickly. What team is currently winning is not a big deciding factor, because at any point you can flip an entire match with good decision making and momentum. But when the match is almost over, it can change some of those decisions. Also, don't be afraid to leave a fight. It's better to waste your enemy's time and potentially allow your teammates to get things done or to regroup than to fight for something and die, which relinquishes whatever objective you were fighting for and leaves your teammates outnumbered. Try to fight with your team, and if your team doesn't fight with you, then leave and get something done elsewhere. Remember, there's 3 nodes. It's also just not very fun to be dead, so try to survive. But what is fun is improving and discovering new classes to play and play against, and that takes time, so don't get demotivated if you lose, because at the end of the day, you get the same content as someone who has a higher rating. The matches will just put you with different players. If this video was helpful, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks to my patrons who support my content, and remember to check out any links in the description if you want to learn more. Enjoy your journey through the mists, and I will see you all next time.